to tweet that we're here in this room as we're actually?
I just did, yeah.
No,
Yeah, we just did too. Retweet us.
Okay, good. I'll retweet you. Hey, folks, what's up?
Hey.
You got the feels of like a college lecture or something. You guys are studious.
A very boring class.
Because we're all napping.
Yeah.
Late night last night.
That's your Scantrons and your number 2
It's
pencils.
the end of the day, and we've watched acres and acres of iPhone case vendor.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen as Greg and I got here, we saw some amazing TVs, the LG stuff.
Yeah.
It's just those 3D TVs. That is, I'm gonna steal one, but don't tell. That's amazing.
Yeah, that
So-
3D TV. Oh, what's on here?
Yeah, well, we can talk about gadgets and all that stuff, but where do we go with this stuff? I mean, the world of mobile is really changing quite a bit. I have this new app called Soundboard that lets me watch everything said about something live in the world, right? So I can put your name in there and see what people are saying about one of your performances, or I can put CES in there. Like, let me see if I can pull it up.
Hey Wayne,
Just a
can you move the water over?
Sound.
There.
And this is a place that I think mobile is moving into. I have another app that lets me see photos taken from any specific location in real time. So if somebody uses Instagram or Flickr to take a photo with their camera, put it up on the cloud, then I can use this app, which I'll show you in just a second, called Teleported. And in real time, it will stream the photos down and let me watch what is going on either here at CES or in Seattle or wherever. And that's informing what I'm thinking is going on with mobile devices. It's always connected, real time. Everything we do can be studied and cut apart and remixed and watched, stopped.
Yeah, but that's
What are you guys thinking about this new world?
I just think for for privacy issues, I mean that's one of the things. I created Yowza, this is a mobile couponing app, and a lot of these apps they ask for so much information, and the app that you just described. I mean, Soundboard is great for me, for Wayne. It's great to see who's talking about you. It's great, but that app, it's interesting. Does everyone have to subscribe to that app? So if somebody takes a picture, if they have location services connected or turned on, their pictures are going out there?
Yeah, in fact, you can see it right now. See all those streams?
Are those pictures?
Those are pictures that are live, that have been taken in the last 10 seconds and are just streaming into their infrastructure. And by the way, they can do this with all sorts of media, not just of pictures, but their system that they built is built with Node.js and can grab tweets, and tweets about the location, about a topic, about a thing, or pictures or video, all sorts of fun stuff that the kids, I think these guys are over in Europe doing this app. The kids around the world are doing with this new system called Node.js, which lets you do messaging, very robust messaging infrastructure like this.
And it's called Soundboard?
Well, this was Teleported, without ED, so teleport and then a D.
So, Greg's getting into something interesting with privacy, right? You're worried about people's photos getting into something that they don't really intend to. But I think that in a way people are confused because they say privacy is really important to me, but then at the same time, really what they want is to know where their stuff is going. If you look at what Facebook's mission, they say we want to be open, we want to be connected, that's our mission to the world. And if 800 million people signed up for that, they're basically saying, they're opening up to getting everybody out there and connected. And I think some people don't realize that their stuff is going on Flickr and Instagram and Pinterest and everywhere. At the same time, I think some people that are maybe on the younger side, I think they're used to it and they don't care as much as they used to, as so long as these social networks tell them what's happening with,
Right, where it's
the
going.
content.
Yeah.
Well, and yesterday Google announced a new search for Google.com where they're putting Google Plus results into the search engine, which has caused a huge industry conversation because it's skating close to the antitrust line. Because Google has 80% market share on search, and the antitrust rules are you're not allowed to build a new service and tie it to a monopoly. That's why Microsoft got their hand slapped back in the 90s, late 90s, right around 2000, because they tried to tie the monopoly they had in OS and the operating system to internet browsers, and that got them in trouble. I'm sorry, it's Streamboard is the other app that shows tweets in real time. So these are all the tweets from CES flowing in real time right now. And you can see it moves pretty damn fast, right? And it's a $2 app. This is a $2 app that lets you watch the Twitter world. And I could put like Chase Jarvis in there and watch everything that says your name.
You would want to do that, exactly. But about that feed thing, it's a really interesting problem. You know, Greg has developed Yowza, and a few years ago now I developed an app called Best Camera, which was the first photo app. This is going to sound crazy because it was in 2009, which is not very long ago. It was the first photo app to share images direct to social networks. And that sounds like foreign language, right? Because every single one of the 50,000 photo apps in there just does that now. But at that time, when we submitted our app for, and it's still active. I haven't put a lot of juice into it because we're all into new and interesting things. But when we submitted it, there's a live feed function there as well. And Apple had never had a live feed of images before, so they had to rewrite the rules in order for us to get our app through the App Store protocol. And it was very controversial. I had to go down there a couple times and talk to them because the idea, like the sharing idea that you're talking about, do people know where their stuff is going? And we had to have a provision in there that if you agree to use the service to broadcast, because it goes to a central server, and then the central server feeds it to your Twitter and your Facebook and your G+ and your Flickr and all that stuff. What I was concerned with was boobs and wieners and stuff showing up out there because it's a live feed, right? And we don't want to piss people off. But we let the community control it, so that this is how we got around this horrible thing in Apple. You can't say shit. And so by saying that the community was going to control it, and that if you checked a certain box when you were signing up that you were willing to broadcast your photos, you could create a live stream. And the live stream, I think that's what the audience, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but that's really what we're addicted to. Look at the feed in Facebook, Google Plus is, there's a long list of things that are happening instantly, and that's what Twitter is, right? It's a feed. And why wouldn't images want to be any different? So I think it's nothing that's going to go away, but hacking away at the very beginning was a huge pain in the ass. But you could watch New Year's unfold live from the Best Camera app.
What was the app that when you took a picture, there was an app early on, you took a picture, you sent it up, and then you got a picture back from somewhere in the world?
That was such a cool
Yeah, but that got ruined by pedophiles and
I think it was like Trade Pick or something.
Yeah, it was something, but I was like looking at it with my kids and I was like, no. Portugal is not like that. It's not representative. It's a beautiful country. But that happened with that, and then unfortunately, fortunately, if you can turn off the location service and not opt in, that's what I think the key is. It's just opting in or not.
Well, there's another app coming out this year called Highlight, and you guys haven't seen this yet. But if we were all on Highlight, it would be showing who is in this room to me, and it would be showing me to you. So it's a great dating app. You walk in.
Right. Exactly.
And you can message me, right? So I can click on you and say, hey, what's up? I just showed up at CES. I see you're here too.
Are there like subgroups so you can find out who wants to get laid, who has or who's out there to change the world with their NGO? I mean, can you segment your? Of course, I would use it only for good.
Right.
You get a little line on your little card where you can advertise whatever you want. You can say, hey, I'm looking for, and people. But this gets to that privacy. We're changing our understanding of what privacy is, right? This is an opt-in system, and when you opt in, you're giving away this data, and anytime you come close to somebody else with this system, you see them pop up on the screen. It's really like Jackson Gates just popped up on my screen, right? And so who is Jackson Gates? I can click on him, I see a map of where he is, I see a picture, I see a little bit of bio from Facebook and stuff like that. This kind of thing is going to be very hot at South by Southwest. We're at Consumer Electronics Show next year because as I'm walking down the hallway, say,
Oh, yeah.
I can say only show me people within 50 yards, and it'll be, oh, there's Callie Lewis. Oh, where is she? Can I, come over and see you?
Can I hijack just for a second and by a show of hands, who would, like, at this point, without really thinking about it other than gut response, would want to do that? Broadcast your location and say what it is you're looking for in the world and look to meet like-minded people on the fly. This is market research here. I'm going to tell you, I held a focus group, so you'll all get checks soon. So was that about
the reason
is that half or more?
By the way, the reason I'm on this
Only
app,
the
I watched
Japan
this
only.
app go through a party in Silicon Valley. Everybody in the party got on it within an hour. And it had a virality coefficient. And this is how app developers talk to each other, because if I tell you about an app, how many people are you willing to tell about that app? That's virality coefficient. If it's +1, that means it'll go through this party eventually, this whole room eventually, within an hour. It was 4. Everybody was like, holy shit, look at this app. And that's what changes our behavior, right? If somebody comes up to you and goes, hey, you gotta get on this app, it's so cool, and see everybody around us. And, especially at something like a South by Southwest or a Consumer Electronics Show, if you're walking down the road and things are happening on your phone because of where you are, it's very addictive.
I think that the very techy group of people like this idea of context and even things that sound old now, like personalization. We're really aware of these things, but if you had asked that question in a group of average people, maybe in a rural setting, I think none of them would have raised their hand, but I don't think they realize that they want this yet. Just like if you see Pinterest. Pinterest is this website, I'm guessing most people here know what it is, but it's about curating content, right? And when I saw it, I thought, oh, I've seen 50 like that, I'm not really that impressed. And then I started seeing my wife, her friends, random people that don't even get on Twitter, and they're very interested in this. And I think that, like you're saying, that behavior is changing, and in a way, some of these startups are helping change that behavior. And the tech industry as a whole is trying to move there, but in many ways, sometimes you have to sort of wait for the average person to realize that this is something that they want.
See, I think the average person, is in a place where they will, I think I disagree with you in terms of if you would have to ask that question outside, simply because going back to the privacy issue, I'm a dinosaur in the sense of, I recently got on Twitter 3 years ago. And even since then, only in the past 6 months have I truly made a push, and that's why I started getting followers, because I started going on and talking and doing stuff. Because I was one of those people that I just thought, that's something that those kids are doing. Why do I need that to push my work? I'm good at my job. I'm really great at my job. This is good. Folks should just watch it because it's good. Why do I need to go on and go, hey, this is a funny picture,
Hey. I enjoy doing that.
Yes, I know. But you do, because that is the world now. That is where society has gone. So people are cool with their privacy going that way. They are cool sharing these things because everyone expects to get it back. There's a reciprocity in that because they want to be this, because folks are nosy basically. That's why reality TV works. People are nosy. So I think that when you say who wants to be part of that and who would like to give away that information to meet those like-minded people, there are a lot of people now that go, oh, I want to, because I want to know who's doing what and when and why.
So I think you'd have to ask the question that way. You would have to say, who would want, if somebody's dating, right, they're dating around, they want to meet people, and you said, who would want to know who's in this room? Then I think they would all respond and say yes. But if you ask them in a techie way, who would want a contextual laptop, blah, 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 they would all be like, what does that mean? You have to find
it goes beyond
value.
dating, right? Who in this room has tickets to the Tiesto party tonight, right? Right?
The person that was whistling.
I'm going to Chicago.
And see, this app could say, hey, anybody want to go to Tiesto tonight? The first one to click goes with that guy to Tiesto, right? And those kinds of experiences are going to evolve because these systems now are real time and location, so good at location that they can tell which part of the room you're in. An Israeli company showed me an app for Android that actually can tell that I've walked to a different part of a room because of the Wi-Fi and wireless signature. So this technology is getting pretty advanced and pretty freaky. But we're all gonna.
I saw online someone posted the Robert Scoble following thing. Did you see that? There's
Yeah,
some,
yeah.
there's the,
That was done as a joke and it was poorly implemented, but what he's talking about is an app that would show whether you're in the room with me but I would have to tweet that I'm in the room with my.
Robert's the only guy in the world that when someone does a joke and he puts 25 computers up and they all say, this is how I follow Robert Scoble, and he talks some shit about that. But you didn't do a very good job with that, actually. In order to do it right. No, but I want to chime in.
I was just gonna say there are, you know, having my app experience, you know, we have amazing technology is such that we could do a million different things with Yowza. It's a coupon app, and if it makes it too difficult, if you have to check in, if you have to get points, if you have to go home and redeem, if it's, I mean, it's like my mom is like, are you out of your mind? I just want to go to the market and use coupons. So for certain things, I mean, it's the Apple model. Apple's got incredible things in the pipeline. They're not going to touch them because it confuses, and the UI experience has to be so simple that FAD could use it. That's what they say. You turn on an iPad and a 2-year-old can use it. So we have to be careful, and I think it does play. Different people are going to use it for different reasons, but the masses for something like Yowza, it's got to be simple. It's got to be super, super simple. But then, having said that, also, you opt in to want to hear near-field technology, and if you walk by a store, people want to know that there's a deal in that store, and they want their phone to vibrate. So, there's a give and take there, but it's trying not to get it too complicated. I think it's going to be the same.
If you go to walk the Consumer Electronics Show floor, go visit the car booths. I talked with the guy who runs innovation at Ford, and we started talking about Waze. How many people are on Waze? How many people know what Waze is? Just a couple. Okay. So Waze is a real-time traffic app that, as more people get onto it, it lets us report why the traffic is slow to each other, or why
because you're tweeting as you're driving.
I'm not moving.
Yeah, well.
But it's also you don't even need to pick up the phone. It just watches your speed, and it's better than Google Maps in terms of traffic because it's actually my phone slowing down, and it says, "Hey, you're in slow traffic," and we're reporting that to the system. Everybody else, WAZE. Yeah.
Is it built into the cars, or
No, right now it's iPhone and Android, and I think Windows Phone now.
Waze?
In the last year, it went from 2 million users to 11 million users. So in 1 year, it's seen that kind of growth. It's at a tipping point now where it is better than Google Maps in San Francisco. But the guy at Ford was like, this is way too hard for a person to use in the car. And they're thinking about building that technology into the car like 3 years from now. When you design a car, I learned it takes 4 years from the day they start thinking of that car before it's even going to be shipping, right? So they're thinking about the car of 2016, 2017, 2018 right now, and he's talking with Waze and thinking about how to get some of that technology and not let you text, because he doesn't want you distracted while you're driving. That'll lead to lawsuits.
And Google's gonna self-drive our cars anyway, so it's not a problem.
The guy who built that car is here at CES. I saw him on the show floor.
Hey, Robert, I think we've got a question here.
Yeah.
There's people. I'm Victor the Snake Man from Splash News. There's people like me that have a lot of followers on Facebook and MySpace and Twitter, and I'll tell people if I'm going to a club, but I don't want my app saying, oh, he's at Ralph's, or he's at Smith's Shopping, or something like that. And you get people like you guys that you don't want people, stalkers especially, being able to track where you're at.
I was going to bring that up, but it's such a small segment of people.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I mean, all it takes is one.
I know, but I've experienced that with Twitter.
Waze doesn't let you do. Waze doesn't encourage you to use any.
Well, I was talking previous to that post, but I mean, it's like, because I've had people show up at some place I was at when I first started that, and I'm like, I don't like this feature. I'll just like tweet that I'm going someplace, but I don't want them to be able to find me. That's kind of scary. That's why I didn't raise my hand. So
post it when you're leaving.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm in a public, if I'm at a concert or I'm shooting an event or something, I know that they're not going to just be able to walk up to me, or if they are, I'm going to be in a group of people. But like if I'm out, I don't want them being able to see, oh, Victor's right there. Oh,
You don't check
do when
in.
you're leaving, and that's a
Or you just don't check
solution
in.
to a digital problem. But sorry, if I can dovetail on what Wayne Graham was saying earlier, and it's in my mind, it's a lot about we often don't know we want things before we want them, and that's what people in technology are paid to do. And you can put cardboards, you can rearrange that. Do technologists just want those things, and then we have to adopt them? There's a philosophical question there for sure. But I mean, even something again, I'm more of a photographer and a director, so I think about things in the photo app world. And when the iPhone first came out and I was taking pictures with a 2-megapixel camera and posting them every day, people thought it was cool. People were like looking at it from a distance going, oh wow, it's neat that you're doing that. And I said to all those people, and in rooms filled like this at places like CES and at Sundance, and I said, all of you all will be doing this in 2 years. How many think that they're a photographer? And like 10 people raise their hand. Yeah. And now, like, yeah, and when we talk about ease of adoption, and you know, you want your mom to be able to use something really easy and not too complicated. That was one of the beautiful things that I sort of tried to put out there before anyone else was talking about it, which was, wait a minute, usually there's all kinds of really complicated shit that you have to do to adopt the technology. You have to buy an iPad, you have to load apps, you have to, but with this little device here, all you have to do, because there's 5 billion, when I started talking about this, there's 5 billion active accounts, not phones, active accounts. And I said 90% of those have cameras already in them. So all the barrier to entry is a switch that you flip in your mind.
Yeah.
That's the easiest sort of adoption that there is, which is why we've seen photos, specifically camera phone photos, become the fastest, largest adoption ever in the history of any sort of technology. My 65-year-old mother considers herself a photographer now. To me, that's cool. So what do we think we want to know something? And it's so often when you don't know that you get presented someone like Greg's app and you're like, oh shit, of course I wanted my phone to ring when I walked by the store. Sorry, Robert.
No, on the other side of the argument is there was a company that, and I forget the company name, I'll look it up later, that lets you put a tag on your kid or your dog, and it'll warn you whenever that kid or that dog leaves a barrier around your house.
That commercial plays all day long, every day now.
Yeah. So now
Is it an app? Does he have to have an iPhone, like the dog?
No, just tag in the tag on the dog's collar or whatever, so you know that the dog has left the front yard or whatever, and somebody's stealing the kid or whatever.
And they get electrocuted, right? If they leave.
No, it does. It is an app. You go and install it on your phone when you buy. But you have to buy the product and the subscription.
On my Alex, I just got that for my daughter, put it in her backpack.
Yeah, no, really.
Yeah, the leash is definitely. It's electronic leash.
So what else is happening in social media that's going to help us deal with this flood of new stuff that just new photos, new tweets? Twitter, by the way, in the last year has doubled the number of tweets per day from around 100 million to now 250 million tweets per day.
Wow.
That the world is generating, and if that trend continues in a year, it'll be 500 million, right? It'll be double what it is today. So how are we going to deal with this deluge of shit coming toward our screen? I have 3 big screens at home just to watch all this.
That's such an amazing number to me because, and I know that you guys have thought the same thing sometimes. I tweet some. There are people that I talk to where we're doing something, and as we're doing it, they're tweeting about what we're doing, or we say that we're going to, and they tweet about what's going to happen. At what point does it stop being that? The purpose of Twitter is to be connected. I'm assuming is the purpose, right? But when does it become counterproductive to actually living the experiences that you're sharing with the people that you're trying to be connected to? You're talking about the things. We're gonna have this great time in Yosemite. Well, get off the damn phone. Get that great time in Yosemite.
How did you get bandwidth in Yosemite? I was there last week and there wasn't any bandwidth.
Well, I think that's where the whole Internet of Things is coming, where some things will just happen on their own. And if you see the way Facebook is doing their frictionless sharing now, if I'm listening to something on Spotify, it just goes to Facebook and tells my friends, and I don't ever have to press a button, I don't have to do anything, I just click once and then it goes. So I think that there's this whole new area of things doing different things for us. And it's not just communicating with friends and talking about Yosemite, but it could be other things that are really valuable. So I'm from Samsung, by the way, and our new connected washer lets you know when your load is ready. So it seems like a very simple, obvious thing, but when my washer finishes, it tells me on my phone that it's ready and I can go get my clothes instead of wasting time checking.
That's an example of one of those things that you didn't know that you needed until you're like, of course I want that.
Yeah,
Oh, and now it's a sale, yowza, and shit, everything's ready. That's amazing to me. This is amazing.
By the way, tweeting, actually texting on phone is so yesterday. I'm using social cam right now to live broadcast this to Twitter and Facebook, right? So why do you
Get that too.
I was just in Israel, and Israel is the #2 just behind Silicon Valley. I mean, they are like so cutting edge, and so many investors and everything. Anyway, and I met a guy who said that they had just polled a bunch of kids, like 500 kids, and they said if you had to get rid of one of the things that your smartphone does, if you just get rid of one thing, what would it be? And they all said, get rid of the phone. Wow. I was like, really? I mean, 99% of them were like, don't even use it as a phone anymore. I don't care. I don't care to. And I mean, that's dangerous, obviously. As a parent of 3, I want my kids to have a personal interaction with people and have people skills and not just, do this all the time. And I'm constantly telling them, at the dinner table, hey, let's stop, whatever. But it's just interesting how that's where we're going. And these devices are just, changing our lives. And to your point, you didn't know you needed it until you had it. Now we can't live without it.
Same with pencils and highlighters, right? I don't know if kids learn to write anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. My kids can't fathom the idea of getting in a car and going to a record store. Like,
Exactly.
What are you talking about?
What's an 8-track?
Right.
What's an age?
What is an 8-track?
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Those are CD.
Those are the
Anyways,
things that we have to put up with because
I know a couple of these guys have schedules to keep because they're famous. We have one last question before they have to jump off the panel. Yeah.
What do you think would be the next killer app in mobile? We have deals.
I'm working on it right now, but I can't tell you.
I wouldn't think of this.
I mean, what do you think we need? Because you guys are the guys that are leading the charge.
Here's what's interesting is that I'm constantly thinking of something that solves a problem. A problem that you never knew you had. This would be a great way to solve that problem, like telling you that your laundry's done, so you don't have to sit there and constantly come back and check it, or that I know there's an app attached to a thermometer for meat, so you can set it on the barbecue, and it'll let you know when your steak is finished.
Your phone gets really hot.
Oh, smell that. More garlic, Lou, more garlic.
Pass butter.
But so that's what I say. Okay, the next big successful app is going to be one that solves a problem. Then my best friend comes out with Action Movie, and it blows people away, and it's just strictly entertainment. So I don't know. For mobile to solve problems, again, I think I'm working on something unbelievable, but who knows? Who knows?
I feel pretty passionately about education and lifelong learning. So I founded a startup called Creative Live, which has been going on for about a year, and don't talk about it yet because we're going to have a nice coming out party in the not too distant future. But I believe very deeply in live, real-time education on the fly, that you can actually learn something instead of killing time and killing brain cells, that you can actually spend time learning things about photography or the world or whatever from not just anyone and not just a recorded video, from a live badass in that discipline. I want to promote the best 1% of the teachers in the world, give them a platform where we can all learn from them, not like fucking space invaders. Sorry about the F-bomb there, if anyone's mom.
That was terrible. So good.
Anyways, thank you for joining our panel. Yes, Chase.
I want to do some plugs. Greg, go ahead, because we haven't talked enough about Yowza.
Well,
I know
we talked about Yowza, but I want to talk about, just for a second, about the aspect of trying to harness charity. Because in the same vein as education, I have a foundation called Talk About It. Okay, our oldest son has epilepsy, and people forever, there's a stigma attached to seizures. You see someone have a seizure and it's scary and you don't want to deal with it, so we don't get the funding. We're not as close to finding a cure. 5 million people in the United States have epilepsy or seizure disorder. It's like, are you crazy? It's more than anything. So why are we not paying attention to it? Because people in the closet, well, social media is bringing them out. Talk About It is bringing them out. My foundation, and I keep yelling about it, but I think there's a way of harnessing everybody we know, every celebrity we know wants to do good. They want to use their their celebrity, their recognizability in a good way, and they're tired of walking down the red carpet and having somebody go, okay, this is a children's charity, these kids are, you know, it's like, know something, have a connection to something and really feel passionate about it. I was, you know, unfortunately selected. You know, my son got epilepsy, so I'm passionate about it, but I think there's a real way to harness it. I haven't figured it out yet, especially on Twitter. I asked people, you know, Alyssa Milano asked me to send a tweet out, $1 to help build wells in Africa, and so I, you know, no one gave me money. It's like, you know, Twitter is a very passive, lazy thing too. You have to be able to motivate them in the right way, but I really do believe social media is the answer to, and we've seen it with Occupy and, you know, the Middle East. I mean, it's just insane what's happened because people can communicate instead of being separated, you know.
Community.
Community, yeah.
We gotta hear from them. Keep going. What do you guys think?
I was just gonna say that I think it's amazing how really people that have influence and celebrities like you guys, I mean even Scoble has like 1 billion followers. The fact that somebody can say one little thing, you know, something that maybe they care about, but then somebody with true influence just spreads it like crazy, to me it's just mind-blowing. It's great to see that this idea of social good is becoming real by the way that celebrities are taking on that responsibility in a way, even though they don't have to. And it's nice to see that even those that didn't want to, now it seems like they have to. They don't have a choice.
Yeah, it's true.
I agree.
How are you going to change the world, Wayne?
I'm going to try to change the world one person at a time.
You have to give him a song and an emotion and a...
You know, the app that I was thinking of really fast, I just said, is I love Shazam, and I'm sure that there's an app like this, but I would love to see an app where, how many times have you seen something on TV or in life that you go, oh man, if you could take a picture and immediately goes through a database of some sort.
Facial recognition.
So some sort of facial recognition app that.
Well, we already have that. So check out the Samsung booth.
I'm coming. See how we did that?
Well, facial recognition, but come back to the
Exactly. And I'll
Samsung.
get you a coupon for a Samsung TV.
I think it would be awesome to see a Shazam for TV where it knows that I'm interested in something. My phone talks to my TV, and I can just tweet directly with friends or connect with people through my phone connecting to the TV without me having to go to Twitter, for example.
Yes, and you can see what that actor's been in and all different projects.
Yeah.
I like
By the way, I want to mention I was doing the data session earlier, tweet analysis, or the tweets leading to CES, and Samsung was dominating the conversation in a big way. I also want to interject how Wayne changed the world without, in ways he doesn't even know. So, my kids, my son's in his second year of college, daughter's about to graduate, and they're little kids, they start going off to high school and they're like lost in the big world, haven't found their groove, don't know what their thing is, but they're addicted to Whose Line Is It Anyway? Ever since they've been little kids, it's like, God, they're literally addicted. So they get into the drama program. And now my son's at the University of Washington studying drama, my daughter is with all this great community. And so anyway, it's not all apps. Anyway, it's life-changing. So I had to say.
Very cool. So thanks, guys.
So we're going to break. I want to thank you guys very much. It's been a long day, a great day. I really appreciate all of you. I know it's a late one here at CES. So
Can I get a group photo of him by the
yeah, absolutely. By the way, guys.